What's going on, everyone? How are you guys doing? It is February 22nd, 2021, and here we are, the fallout from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The Miz is the WWE Champion, and there's a lot to talk about. There is a lot to talk about. So how are you guys doing? Hopefully you guys had a good rest of your night on Sunday and a good day today. Tonight's episode of Raw was very interesting. You have to let me know what you guys thought about it down in the chat here. I wouldn't say that it was a good show, but it was by far, like, it was not anywhere close to one of the worst episodes that I've seen. There was like no disqualifications, no roll-ups. What? No distraction finishes? What? Has hell frozen over? Can someone tell me? Has hell frozen over? No disqualifications. No, nothing. Nothing. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But with that being said, it was Rematch Central. Rematch Central, man. Lots of matches that we have seen over and over and over and over again over the past couple of weeks. Again, though, with that being said, the match quality was pretty good. The match quality was pretty good tonight. No Drew McIntyre. Very interesting for that. No Alexa Bliss. No Fiend. Very, very interesting. All right. Let's see who all is here tonight. Good to see you, Bob. Ender, Sean Gomez. Good to see you, my friend. Flash. We got Harrison here. Basili Phillip is here. Maddie Jackson. How you doing, my friend? Daniel Rivera. How are you doing? Says, I'm glad they're pushing Bobby Lashley. They are treating Bobby Lashley like gold tonight. Treating them like gold. Sean says, what's the music? It is epic. I don't recall. I can't ever remember what who the person is that does it. Feel free, if you want to know, message me on or DM me on Instagram, and I will go through and find it after the show and give it to you. But it's just from the YouTube library. I spent hours and hours and hours looking through the library of music to try to find some decent music that would sound good for the intro and the starting soon stuff. So Molly Man, how are you doing? Raphael, always good to see you as well. Same with you, OB James, Safa Warrior, JVOJ, how's it going, my friend? Alex Silver, Chloe is here. No Hacks, good to see you as well. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you, No Hacks. Jaden as well, how you doing? Hoodie, always a pleasure to see you. Leroy, Anthony, Sharma, good to see you. Nova as well. Nate the Great, Andre, Punk is here. Flash is here. Lots of people here. Thank you guys so much. Let's see here. What's going on in the chat here? Hoodie says, I feel like WWE ruined Drew. I think he's fine. I wouldn't worry about Drew. I think that keeping him off TV tonight was probably best for business, if you ask me. You know, when a champion loses their title and they're not going to directly go back after it and be involved in a feud, I think it's usually best for them to take some time out and just kind of be away so that we don't have to see them, so that we don't so that they're not wasted and they're kind of protected, you know. That's all. So it was kind of good to not see McIntyre tonight. And, you know, they use him through the entire show, you know, so good for him to have a little break. Hopefully it's not the end for him. All right, let's see here. Nate says, how was your night? My night is good, man. My night is good. Tonight's show, it wasn't terrible. Like I said, it was not terrible, but it was a little boring. But you know, someone in the comments said rather boring than terrible, right? So they were right. Quincy, how you doing? Says, kind of like to see Miz take the title. It's something new, not original, but I hope he goes full heel and has a decent run. I would not expect to see a decent run for the Miz. To be honest with you, I think he'll probably drop it next week. Unless they try to do something weird where they have Braun Strowman interfere, or they have Drew McIntyre interfere or something, and then they set up like a fatal 4-way at Fastlane or whatever. I could definitely see them doing that. I hope that's not the case, but maybe. Chloe says, AOW, hear me out. WWE teases The Fiend versus Randy Orton, and Alexa accepts the WrestleMania match on The Fiend's behalf. Then we get a new look of The Fiend at WrestleMania. I guess you could go that route. I guess. Because people will be dying to see what The Fiend looks like if he's going to have a new character and stuff like that. So maybe, but drawing it out that long it's brutal. It's so brutal. WrestleMania is April 10th and 11th? So we're still quite a ways away from it. 6, so it'll be five more episodes of Raw, if I remember correctly. Hoodie says the Miz's face says it all. Yeah, that's why I used that as the topic. The topic image of the night. That was pretty much how it felt just watching Raw tonight. It was just kind of like, I don't know. Kind of interesting. JVO says, I'm hoping Bobby Lashley wins the WWE title next week. Me too. I think that is the route to go going forward. I would definitely throw the strap on Bobby Lashley. That guy has a rocket attached to his back, and he is headed not even to the moon. He's headed past the moon. You could see that tonight. You could really see that tonight. I loved it. I was really mad to see that they made this main event match between Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman, because I really thought that they were going to somehow have Braun Strowman win, or there was going to be some weird disqualification or hokey stuff, but it was just a big thick boy match, and Bobby Lashley got the win. Clean win. So I am completely happy with that. How you doing, James? Good to see you as well. Mally says, was I the only one who thought Brock was going to interfere in the Strowman Lashley match? Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that. If we are finally going to get that Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar match, I would expect to see that start forming like right before WrestleMania, like a couple weeks before. Not much, at least after Fastlane. And I believe after Fastlane, I think we have 3 episodes of Raw and 3 episodes of SmackDown before we get to WrestleMania. James says this is the second special edition of your post shows. Yes, it is. We had the Fricky edition, which was hilarious. And now we have the rematch edition, because almost every single match tonight was a rematch. Surprise, surprise. Anthony says, let's get that typical Aleister Black question out of the way. So if you guys want to know the latest update with Aleister Black, I have you. I have the latest and greatest. The update on Aleister Black you've all been dying to see for weeks and weeks and weeks. You ready? There is no update. Sorry to tell you. There is no update. Jack says, yo, man, just checking in before I go to sleep. It's 4:20 a.m. in England at the moment, so I'll watch this again tomorrow. How would you book the WWE title match at Mania out of interest? Man, you are a trooper, Jack, for staying up until 4:20 a.m. for some wrestling. Whew, that is crazy. Let's see. Going into WrestleMania, I would 100% probably have Bobby Lashley as the champion. Going in, maybe Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Lashley versus Drew McIntyre is fine with me as well. Lashley versus McIntyre versus Lesnar is fine. I would definitely have Bobby Lashley as the WWE champion, though. Bosley says, Gold versus Bobby. No way, man. No way. Sean says 5 a.m. in Amsterdam. You are a trooper. Andre, you are a trooper as well, man, in Portugal. Whew. Warrior says, hey, AOW, I heard Asuka was the Raw Women's Champion. Can you confirm that? Let me check my records here. Yes, it does appear that Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion. Yes, it does. I'm not quite sure what that is, but yes, she is the Raw Women's Champion. Let's see here. Huge Metal Fan says Bobby wins the title and probably be Bobby and Drew at WrestleMania for the title. It could very well be that way. So here's my thing. If Bobby Lashley wins the WWE Championship from The Miz, which he should, then he should not lose the title at WrestleMania. There's no way. There is no way, no how that should happen. So Bobby Lashley needs to beat whoever he's facing going into WrestleMania. I do not want to see all those title changes happen that fast. We saw Randy Orton hold the title for like 2 or 3 weeks earlier. So now we have The Miz, who has held the title for a day. So Miz will probably hold the title for about 8 days before he gets dethroned. So it would be nice to see Bobby Lashley carry it longer than like a month. Oh God, Raphael. God, you're going to make Phillip's head explode, man. You're going to make his head explode. Hoodie says nobody wants to see Spear versus Spear at Mania. Edge should have picked the WWE Championship. I mean, I would completely agree with you until last night. The whole entire time I've been saying that the WrestleMania match is not Edge versus Roman Reigns. It's actually Edge versus Drew McIntyre. But I mean, if this is the route that they're going to go, does anyone want to see WWE waste one of Edge's precious matches against The Miz at WrestleMania? I mean, I guess it would be an easy W for him, but yeah, to me, that just does not scream WrestleMania main event. The Miz versus Edge. No. So, I mean, I get it now. I get it. It's fine. I still think that it's fine. I still think that the story is there for Edge. I certainly would not have Edge beat Roman Reigns. Man, but if they do, they're telling the story. Warrior says, honestly, if Edge wins and brings the World Heavyweight title back, I'm 100% for it. Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to see the World Heavyweight Championship back. I think you guys all know that's my favorite championship of all time, is the World Heavyweight Championship. So I'd always be very happy to see it, but I don't know if I could actually see them pull the trigger on that. Edge beating Roman Reigns, Edge dethroning your tribal chief. I don't know. James says it's 9:26 in Phoenix. Nice, man. It is 8:26 for me in Oregon. That's why I have no idea how you guys stay up. Like, I stay up super late, and that's no problem. But there is no way in hell that I'd be staying up till 3 a.m. to watch Raw. Nope. No way. No way, no how. Chloe says, we all know Roman whispered to Edge, you got to pick me or they're going to send in Goldberg. Oh, probably. Probably. Nova says, I wonder who Ricochet is jobbing to next week. How exciting. Yeah, man. If you got a job that needs to be done, you should try and get Ricochet's number, because he's your man. He's your man's. Basili says, that's my favorite championship too, AOW. I was just getting ready to type that. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I mean, I think everyone probably gets my shtick by now. I say it all the time. Like, my favorite championships are just big and gold. I love the World Heavyweight Championship. I love the AEW World Championship. I love the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I really like the IWGP United States Championship as well. It's good. Andre says, I slept 3 hours before Raw just to watch it live. Whew. Crazy, man. Crazy. Bosley says best movies and shows on Peacock, getting it for the network. Me personally, right now, I am watching the entire series of King of Queens. I think I'm on season 7. I think I just got to season 7. Not too bad. It's a good show. It's a good show. I used to watch it back in the day when I was younger, but I don't think I ever finished it. So I should be getting into that territory of episodes that I haven't seen before. Let's see here. Raphael says, speaking of which, I wonder what Goldberg is doing at Mania this year. Maybe we finally get the dream match, Goldberg versus Gilbert. That would be hilarious. I would totally, all jokes aside, I would love to see Matt Riddle take on Goldberg at WrestleMania. I don't know if they would ever pull the trigger on it, but man, I want to see it. I do. I'm very interested in it. It'll be interesting to see if they pull the trigger on having Goldberg at WrestleMania, though. It really doesn't seem like there's any plans for him to fit in anywhere at this time, at least. So maybe they'll save him for SummerSlam or something like that. I don't know. I saw it first. Says the leaked card for WrestleMania had John Cena versus Goldberg, was named for Cena. Oh God, please no. Does anyone want to see that? Would anyone want to see that? Let's see if I can pull this one off. Anthony says Goldberg versus Matt Riddle would be such good shit. There we go. I did it. JVOJ says, even though he said it's unlikely, maybe John Cena will face Goldberg. Someone did say that they were shutting down production for a couple weeks. So I don't think it was ever confirmed or anything, but God, man, who said that? I saw it like a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was, I was watching a Fightful thing maybe. And the other guy that was on it, not Sean Ross Sapp, but the other guy that was on that episode was talking about it. About them possibly halting production for like 4 weeks. So for the travel ban and all like the pandemic and all of that stuff, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So before John Cena would be able to come back, I believe they're filming in Canada. So before he'd be able to come back, he would have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Then he could fly here. Then he could do whatever he's going to do at WrestleMania. Then he would have to quarantine here for 2 weeks before he can go back. So if John Cena is going to have a 10, 15, 20-minute appearance at WrestleMania, it's going to cost him a month's worth of his time just to make it happen. Noah says, hey, it's my birthday right now. Always a great time here. Hey, happy birthday, Noah. If you guys in the chat could wish Noah Clark a happy birthday, that would be great. Let me get some woos for you. There you go. There you go. Yeah, some woos. There you go, man. Happy birthday, Noah. Happy birthday. Hope you had a great day, my friend. Or if it's like midnight or something, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Got some good stuff planned. Let's see here. Victor says, do you think Bad Bunny is going to do something to make The Miz lose the belt? Maybe. It would be possible. I would be way more inclined to see something like that rather than having him be in like a world championship match against The Miz. Because, that would be brutal. Flash says, do you think there will be an NXT match at Mania? See, I'm not quite sure because Mania is going to be 2 nights again. So where does that leave NXT if they can't have Saturday? I guess I can't remember what they did last year. Did they do a show a week before? Maybe they could have a special edition of NXT like on TV and just go all out. I mean, hey, give everyone a takeover on Wednesday night. That'd be a good way to take some viewers away from Dynamite. That is if they're still on TV at that point. There's a lot of people that still think that with the Peacock deal that NXT will be moving to Peacock. So we'll see. I wouldn't mind it, but I kind of feel like they would lose a lot of money taking NXT off of TV, though. I'm sure they make a decent amount, but who knows? Who knows? I have no idea what the behind the scenes stuff of all of this Peacock deal is and all of that. I do know that Peacock is NBC Universal, so they're not going to want their stuff on Fox. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out between the two of them. Are they going to advertise Peacock on Fox? Like, kind of weird. Like, they played a full-on commercial today for Peacock for a TV show on Peacock. They mentioned Peacock a lot tonight, so I wonder if they're able to do that on SmackDown. Bosley says, you think people are going to move to Peacock? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think so. I mean, think about it, right? You pay $9.99 for the WWE Network, right? So why wouldn't you pay $4.99 or $9.99 for the Peacock Premium? And you get the WWE Network plus everything else that's on there. So it's worth it to me. Definitely. I highly recommend getting Peacock. And the interface is so much better than the WWE Network, man. Like, I constantly get logged out of the WWE Network all the time. It's so annoying. Molly says, what is the goal counter at? I'm not sure. I've been keeping track. Jared S says, how do you feel about Cameron Grimes' gimmick with the stock market and all that? Reminds me of when Jamie Noble got the inheritance. I like it. I think it's entertaining. I think that Cameron Grimes is a very entertaining guy. I think that he's able to do the gimmicky, hokey stuff and get away with it, the comedy stuff. So I love it. I'm all for seeing more of that. Let's see here. Respawn says, well, I bought Peacock with no ads. I just want to know how it's going to work when it comes to the pay-per-views. So I think it'll be the same, right? I think it'll function the same way that it does now. You'll just log on to Peacock. You'll go to WWE, or maybe it'll have it on the home screen, and you'll just click on it and wham, bam, you're in, you're good. I did see some complaints or some more so some concerns from people. So if you have the WWE Network, you can screenshot it on your phone and you can record it from your phone as well. You know, like if you have an iPhone, you can slide down and push the record screen and you can actually record the screen. You apparently cannot do that on Peacock. So if you use Peacock and you take a screenshot, it's just black. And if you go to record something, it's just black. It doesn't show it. Yeah, everyone is saying to the moon. Shelvis, how's it going, my friend? Gerard, happy you enjoyed the show tonight. Happy you enjoyed Raw. Raphael says WWE is like the broadcasting company slut. They've got USA, Fox, and Peacock. Yes, they do. Bosley says, do you get Peacock for free if you have Comcast? Yes. You get the $4.99 version of Peacock for free if you have Comcast. And if you want to upgrade to the ad-free one, you just have to pay the difference. So $5. $5 difference for the $10 one. So really, if you have Comcast and you're getting Peacock for free, you could cancel your WWE subscription when the time comes. Not yet. When the time comes. And you would have the WWE Network for free. You'd save yourself $10. If you didn't want the ads, you'd be saving yourself $5. And you'd get more content. Win-win, man. Anthony says, are you going to do a 2-night post for Mania? Yes, we will have a night 1 and a night 2 show. 100%. Yes. And we'll have predictions videos. And oh man, depending on how things go, I really enjoyed the community predictions live stream that we did. I thought that was a lot of fun, like bringing people into Discord and having them chat and stuff. I would love to do that again. I'm just wondering if it would be possible, because Friday would be SmackDown. Then I'd have to upload a video Saturday morning, then we'd have to do a stream like Saturday afternoon, and then we'd have to do the watch Mania, and then have the post show. So it'd be like tied up for like 2.5 days streaming and recording videos. So 100% there will be a predictions video and post shows afterwards. Not quite sure about the community ones though. We'll try to figure it out. Flash says, AOW, I have to leave early tonight. I hope you and the Watchers of Truth can enjoy the rest of the night, and remember, Hangman fucks. Oh my God, yes, BTE today was hilarious. So Hangman is hanging out with the Dark Order now, and they're so like, before Hangman came in, they were all chanting, Hangman fucks, Hangman fucks, Hangman fucks. I really hope that this becomes a chant for Hangman. I mean, Tony Khan is going to lose his head is going to explode because he doesn't want people in the crowds cussing. If that becomes a chant for him, I will die of happiness. That will be incredible. Bosley says, you got HBO Max. I really like it. Rewatched Rick and Morty the first day I got it. Yes, I do have HBO Max as well. I've never seen Rick and Morty before, so I wouldn't mind checking that out at some point. Respawn says, do you think they are waiting to finally let the Fiend in at Mania or before then? I would hope before. I would hope that it's going to happen before. I hope so. Shelvis says, so are the old pay-per-views going to be on Peacock as well? Yes. Yes, they will. So, I mean, it's all the same, right? So everything that you have now is going to be on Peacock. So whatever you want to do, all you have to do is go to peacock.com and log in instead of watch.wwe.com. That's the only difference. You'll still be able to do every single thing that you did before. It will just be on the Peacock platform. That's the only difference. And that's only if you're in the United States. Only if you're in the United States. People who are outside of the United States will continue to use the WWE network like they are. James says the WWE network will be removed from the WWE app. I don't have a WWE app, I don't think. I just have the WWE network one. Or is it all the same? Oh, it is the WWE app. Yeah, so I would assume the network will just get removed from it. Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah. I saw it first says I need that AEW video game. Yeah, man. I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Bosley says Bobby versus The Fiend. I hope not. I would hope not. No. Both those guys need to look strong. Alex says, are all the classic pay-per-views like Halloween Havoc, Vengeance, etc., going to be NXT pay-per-views from now on? Maybe. I don't mind it. I like it. I like seeing the old pay-per-views return for NXT. I think it's a cool way to kind of throw some nostalgia in there. James says 5 out of the 12 chamber competitors fought in the 2019 Elimination Chamber match. Wow. Crazy. Pro Gamer Galaxy says they put the title on the Miz just to get the briefcase off of him. Yeah, probably. And I think it's a good way to, if all of this is just to transition and put the title on Bobby Lashley, I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. I think that's fine. I think it's fine. It keeps Drew McIntyre kind of pretty strong, He went through a hellish Elimination Chamber match. Then he got the hell beat out of him by Bobby Lashley, so the odds were really stacked against him. He even kicked out of the first pin attempt from The Miz. So, no problems there. Shelva says it's the AEW game on PS5. I think it will be for everything. I think so. Programmer says, what was Randy Orton coughing up? I don't know. Black blood would be my guess. Black blood. Respawn says, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era. I hope they don't pull a Shield move. So here's my guess. My guess is that Adam Cole will be the heel and the Undisputed Era will side, or the rest of Undisputed Era being Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong, will side with Kyle O'Reilly. And then we'll have the Undisputed Era versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole will probably win this feud and then head to Raw or SmackDown would be my guess. The rest of Undisputed Era will probably stay in NXT. And then later down the line, I would probably see them randomly show up wherever Adam Cole is to help him out. That would be my guess. Pro Gamer says NXT TakeOver Cyber Sunday. I'm down for that. Down for that. NXT pay-per-view should be Armageddon. Down for that. I miss those old pay-per-views. Raphael says, I can actually see Bobby winning the title next week. Then at Fastlane, we get Lashley versus McIntyre with Lesnar returning to set up Lesnar versus Lashley, or Lesnar versus Lashley versus McIntyre. Yeah, I could see that happening too. My only complaint about the triple threat match is that I really, really, really want to see Lashley and Lesnar alone. I really want a singles match out of those two. Really, really, really bad. So we'll see. Chloe says, Adam Cole on SmackDown, please. I need another Bryan versus Cole match. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I saw it first. Says Orton was coughing up all of Gold botched moves. Oh, God. Anthony says, I can't wait for Rhea Ripley to come to Raw. Me either, man. We really, really need her. Really need her. Poor Asuka, man. Poor Asuka. Green says, when is Ronda Rousey returning? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she even will be returning. I'm not sure. She might be done. She might be done. I haven't heard anything about it. Hoodie says, I hope SmackDown won't have any roll-ups, disqualifications, or distractions. I hope so. I hope so, man. It was nice tonight to not see those. It was very nice. Like I said, though, tonight was just kind of boring. Tonight was more boring than anything else, but hey, no disqualifications. I'm happy. There was a lot of logic. A lot of logic in the beginning of the show. I would say that the first hour of the show was very solid. Very solid. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It definitely started going downhill, though. Let's see. Yeah, New Day versus Retribution is when things started to take a turn for the worse. But there was a couple little good things in there that we'll talk about as well. And before we get on to it, I'll answer another questions here. Then we'll go on about the rematches really quick before we start the show. Takeover Starrcade. I'd be down for that. Warrior says, did you see Mick Foley's tweet about Rhea? Basically, he was telling WWE to not mess it up. I didn't. I'll have to look. Let's see. I can look it up. Mick Foley. He says, it's vital that WWE not mess around when it comes to pushing Rhea Ripley. Please don't allow her to suffer a 50-50 fate. Strap that rocket to her back and see how far she can fly. I agree. I couldn't agree more. I don't think that Rhea Ripley needs any of the crap. None of it. None of it whatsoever. So hopefully they do right by her, and hopefully they have it planned out before she comes in. It kind of seemed like they might be setting up Charlotte versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, though. It really seemed like that was coming down the pipeline here. So hopefully that is not the case whatsoever. Okay, so before we get into this show really quick, let's talk about the matches for tonight. PWR says, hey, can't watch the stream, have a good night. Yeah, I always have a great night. Always have a great night. The show wasn't the worst thing in the world. It was just a little bit boring. That's my sum up of the show. All right, so let's talk about this really quick before we get into the actual show, because I think mostly everything tonight was like a rematch of some sort. So first match of the night was Matt Riddle versus John Morrison. 100% a rematch. We saw it last night. Let's see here. New Day versus Retribution. This has been going on for weeks. Rematch. Hurt Business versus Lucha House Party. Rematch. Damian Priest versus Angel Garza. Rematch. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Charlotte Flair and Asuka. Rematch. Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. Rematch. Lana and Naomi versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. I'm not quite sure. I don't think we've seen that. That's a fresh match, I believe. AJ Styles versus Ricochet. Rematch. Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. I think that's a fresher match. We may have seen that like a while ago, but as of lately, that's pretty fresh. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches. So 7 out of 9 matches were matches we've seen in the past couple weeks. Like, really? 7 out of 9 matches tonight were rematches. That's crazy. That's so crazy to me. Absolutely insane. But like I said, the match quality tonight was good. It was much better. Except for the women's stuff. Unfortunately. Ooh. JVOJ says we saw Strowman versus Lashley feud back in 2019. Okay, so it's been a while. So for rematches, I'm more so talking about like pretty recent, not like have ever happened before, but just more so recently for that. A lot of this stuff we've seen week in and week out. So yeah, I'll call that a fresh one. Where am I from? I'm from Oregon. Ugh, I got yawned. Good Lord. I'm from Oregon. I saw it first as I hope WWE doesn't do a cinematic match with Orton versus The Fiend at Mania with a live crowd per rumors. Yeah, that would suck. I'm assuming that they probably wouldn't. Valentino says, hey bro, how are you? Just entered the stream. I'm good, man. Hope you did. Hope you had a great night as well. Hope you enjoyed the show. We're just about to get started talking about the show here in just a second. So, Raphael says, if they actually built new stars and actually utilized more of the deserving stars in a more prominent roles, they wouldn't have this problem. You're right. They wouldn't. You know, there's a lot of people on the roster sitting around doing nothing. And it's a shame that we have to see these things over and over again every single week for no reason. You know, it's not needed. It's really not needed at all. Let's see here. Raphael says, in my opinion, AEW's women division is better than Raw's. I would completely agree. Andre says cinematic matches are done. They were good while they lasted. I don't think they're done. In fact, I think the street fight on AEW Revolution is going to be cinematic in some fashion. Probably not anything like Fiend related, but I think it will be filmed cinematic. Speaking of, I need to reach out to Fight TV and see if they want to do a deal here for you guys. Not in the US. Maybe we'll do a AEW Revolution giveaway as well. James says, Raw is Ripley. You proved me wrong, AEW. I guess I will wait for the draft to see her on SmackDown. Yeah, I mean, Rhea Ripley is needed. All hands on deck on Raw, man. For the Raw women's division, it's terrible. Anthony says, I know it's been 2 weeks, but how about the 1,000 sub special? So what we ended up doing for that is one of the episodes we kind of just ran through really quickly. I can't remember which one it was. It was a really bad episode of Raw or SmackDown, I think, and we talked about it for like 20 minutes, and then I just opened up the floor for the rest of the show, and we did that. I'm trying to think, do I have any plans? I'm trying to think if I could just throw one on Sunday. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about doing one on Sunday anyways, because I'm super close to hitting monetization. I think I'll get it this week. If I don't get it this week, I'll get it next week. So I was thinking about doing one to kind of celebrate and push it over the edge for that. So maybe we'll do that on Sunday if I have enough time. I will keep everyone updated with what's going on, and if I'll be home and have enough time to do that. I saw first says, can we be honest and address the elephant in the room? Can WWE build stars anymore? Yes and no. I feel like sometimes they get there, or they get on the road to doing so, and then they just crash and burn. You know? They did. I mean, not that you can build Randy Orton up much more than he already is. But when Randy Orton was doing the Legend Killer stuff, he was like super high up. Roman Reigns has gained a lot of traction in my opinion. Drew McIntyre has done great. I'm not sure if you would consider him a star though. Probably not. Bobby Lashley, they've been doing great with him. Like I said, I wouldn't consider him a star either, but it seems like they're doing better with a few people. AJ Styles has been pretty dominant on Raw as well, despite not really doing anything. So I think they have it in them to make stars, but I think they're scared to make stars because I don't think they want them to leave. That's my guess. Obi James says, imagine a live crowd for the Foot Clan. Poof. Yeah. Basili says, guys, Damian Priest saved us from the professional criminal Humberto Carrillo. Yep. Kicked his head clean off of his shoulders. It was incredible. Beautiful. You love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. It made my Monday night. All right, so let's get into the show here. Let's start talking about this. If you're here and you have not subscribed yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. I would greatly appreciate it. We blew past 1,000 subscribers. Absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough. Also, be sure to hit that like button as well. I would greatly appreciate that. When the live stream is done, it helps promote the video to more people when it gets published to YouTube. And also, I got to thank everyone that was here for the Elimination Chamber live stream last night. Let me pull this up here. It was incredible. It was a lot of fun. We were live for like 3 hours and we got 264 hours of watch time, which is insane, and 56 new subscribers. So thank you guys so much. And it says almost 6,000 views, but I think it's actually somewhere around 4 or 5. So thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough for that. I greatly appreciate that. And like I said, we're on the road to monetization. So thank you guys so much. And like I said before on yesterday, I want to start doing a lot more videos. So if you have any ideas for videos that you want to see me do, definitely let me know in chat or send me a message. I would love to see some ideas. Jaden says, subscribe or else that dirtbag Humberto Carrillo will break into your house. Terrible. He'll probably do it. Molly says, in my opinion, I think that Sheamus and Drew will have some sort of no DQ match at WrestleMania. Man, it would be crazy to see Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania with no title on the line. That'd be weird. That'd be super weird. Bisley says, only one they dropped the ball on is Jeff Hardy. Yeah, they've really missed the ball here with Jeff Hardy. You guys remember when everyone was like, oh, Jeff Hardy is going back to WWE or staying in WWE despite his brother going to AEW, and he's going to have one last run as WWE Champion, and they're going to bring back No More Words and all of that and yada, yada, yada. How's that going? Not very well. James says, Elias and Riker beat Humberto and Akira on main event. # justice. Oh, God. Wow. Raphael says, anyone else realized that The Miz made a lot of John Cena references in his promo? He said he passed Cena, said that you can watch a commercial to see him, and called himself WWE's Babe Ruth. Could it happen? The Miz versus John Cena for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania? Is that where you're going? I don't know, man. I don't think that there's any possible way that they can keep the WWE Championship on The Miz longer than Fastlane. I just don't see how it's possible. I don't see how it's possible. I don't see how The Miz is going to walk out of next week's episode of Raw as the champion. I can't see it. JVOJ says, Father Rollins should have made one more sacrifice against that criminal Humberto. Man, you there was an episode of Raw. Yeah, I think it was Raw, right? Where he was doing all the sacrificing, or was that on SmackDown? I can't remember. But anyways, there was one time where Rollins was starting to do all the sacrificing stuff, and he picked up Humberto Carrillo and he was starting to beat the hell out of him. I had got the biggest smile on my face. I was going to talk so much shit. It never happened though. It never happened, man. It's such a disappointment. It was so funny. Like I think it's really fun to find like these little gimmick things and just roll with them and just have a lot of fun. That would have been incredible. That would have been so much fun for me to play off of. Unfortunately, it never happened. Poor Father Rollins has gone from sacrificing people to taking them to court, unfortunately. So I don't know. Maybe instead of hashtag sacrifice Carrillo, we could do hashtag sue Carrillo or something. I mean, he is a criminal, and sacrificing someone is a pretty big, crazy thing to do. To sacrifice someone. A more logical thing to do would be to take them to court. So maybe hashtag sue Humberto Carrillo is the wave now. Maybe that's the wave. Jaden says, dude, I was gonna be so happy. I remember that Raw. Yeah, dude, I had the biggest smile on my face. My fiance looked over at me and just thought I was an idiot. It's so funny. I was like, I can't wait. I saw first says thoughts on Andrade going back to NXT when he comes back. I'm totally fine for that. Rafael says, I wonder what Humberto would think if he was here right now. I'd be very interested to see. I'm very surprised that he didn't end up seeing what I was when I was talking all that shit back in the day. I was very surprised that he didn't end up seeing that somehow, some way, because there's always that person that gets offended. They end up seeing something that I say and they get pissed off about it. It's happened a couple times now, but it is what it is. It was like Lindsay Dorado and who was the other one? Lindsay Dorado and oh god, what's her name? She's on AEW. Diamante. Evilise. She was the one that was mad at me. I didn't even do anything. I just put what she said in an interview. Chloe says Andrade is in NXT. He's with Xylee. Oh god. You're right. Oh god, I can't remember. I think I had like 10 people message me and say that person was Andrade. I thought it was really funny. Slapnuts versus Drew for the WWE Championship. That can't happen, man. Drew's not the champion. Anthony says this should be the fuck you edition, or the fuck you Humberto Carrillo edition. You can't do that on YouTube. I probably shouldn't even say that on YouTube, to be honest. I'll probably get demonetized, or maybe they won't even let me get monetization. Man, what a slap in the face that would be if they're like, you are not fit for monetization. Something that I did think about that could come to screw me is that apparently YouTube does like crawl the videos and stuff like that, and they know things. So I've always wondered that if saying gold is going to wind up biting me in the ass for having this, for like thinking that I'm actually covering up like a real swear word. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. If so, we might have to stop the whole gold gimmick there. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. James says shocked McIntyre wasn't here tonight. I'm not shocked. I think it was a good idea to not have him on the card for tonight. I think McIntyre needs some time to rest, and I don't think he's going to be a part of the WWE Championship picture right now. Unless he just randomly shows up next week and causes a disqualification or something like that. But I really hope that doesn't happen. All right. So let's get on with the show here. Okay, so tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw opened up with a special episode of Miz TV featuring your WWE Champion, The Miz, and his good old pal, John Morrison. Molly Man says, how funny would it be if YouTube actually thought that gold was a swear word? Yeah, that would suck. That suck. Raphael says, first KO, then The Fiend, and now AOW. Gold about to destroy a third career. Before it even begins, man. Before it even begins. A true superhero. True superhero to the children. Andre says that promo from The Miz was fire. Yes. So here's the thing. A lot of people are saying that The Miz deserves it, that The Miz is talented, that he busts his ass week in and week out, and he's got his own reality TV show, and he does this and he does that, and blah, 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 blah. He deserves to be WWE champion. Hold on. Relax. I understand. I completely understand. And I agree with you on all of those things. But that does not mean that you deserve to be a world champion. 1. 2, I don't think there's really a problem with The Miz himself being a WWE champion. My problem with The Miz being the WWE champion has nothing to do with The Miz and everything to do with his booking. That's all. That is all. It's that simple. The booking is not there. That's it. There's no wins. There's no momentum. There's no star power. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. The Miz does nothing but make childish jokes with John Morrison and look up at the lights. There have been a very few occasions where The Miz and or John Morrison have won a match. For example, last night, John Morrison won the Fatal 4-Way match to qualify for the United States Championship match. So they'll win these weird one-off matches to get themselves in a position to do something, only to lose. Same thing happened with The Miz. He did nothing but lose. Then when it came time to have that match or whatever they did with Otis, he won it. He got the Money in the Bank briefcase and he just continued to lose once again. No momentum whatsoever. So that is my entire problem with all of this. And to be honest, I actually don't even care that much, I guess I should say. The Miz did not earn the WWE Championship. So I'm also not really mad about it that way. There is logic there. We talked about it a lot yesterday on the Elimination Chamber post show, and they did exactly what we talked about tonight. Miz came out, talked a bunch of trash, and then you had MVP and Bobby Lashley come out, pretty much laid everything on the line that John Morrison was the one to cost Bobby Lashley the United States Championship. So in return, what ended up happening was MVP met up with The Miz backstage and said, look, your boy screwed over Lashley, and here's what we're going to do. You're going to make it right. Bobby Lashley will make sure that you're able to successfully cash in your Money in the Bank briefcase on Drew McIntyre. You will become the WWE champion, but in turn, you give Bobby Lashley the first shot at the WWE Championship. It all makes sense. It all makes sense to me. So I really have no problem with The Miz being WWE champion at this point with the logic. It's there. It's fine. I get it. I hope that he's a very short transitional champion. I hope that they don't delay the inevitable. I hope that they don't try all of these weird chicken shit hokey moves to carry this on longer than it really needs to be, because this should end just as fast as it started. I do not see any way that The Miz can survive a match against Bobby Lashley next week on Raw. I can't see it. Marcel says, I recently found out WWE fans don't really like Drew. He's too boring, apparently, especially the casuals. Really? I think Drew McIntyre has done a fantastic job. Personally, that's just me. I liked Drew McIntyre as the WWE champion. I think that he helped WWE a lot through the pandemic. It's very unfortunate that he had to go through that and suffer the no fans thing, but he made the best of it, and I think he ran with it a lot. So Warrior says Miz became WWE champion at the worst time, basically. Yeah, essentially. You know, the Miz would have been a perfect WWE champion when he was doing the Intercontinental Championship stuff. Like, that would have been the time, because that was excellent. That was a lot of high quality content from them. I saw first says, I believe the Miz winning the belt feels like a last minute decision with nothing to look forward with Miz storyline. I don't know where WWE is heading. Yeah, I don't think that they do either. And I would completely agree with you. I think that this was a last minute decision. I don't know. Maybe they just made that decision and they're like, okay, you know what? We'll pull the trigger. We'll put it on Bobby. And maybe we can get Brock to come back for that dream match. I don't know. Hopefully, I cannot see Miz even going to... Well, no, I could see Miz going into Fastlane as champion, but I can't see the Miz going into WrestleMania as the WWE champion. There's just... There can't be... There's no way. Chloe says MVP is a good businessman. Yes, he is. Basili says, if Miz had better booking leading up to becoming WWE champion, it would be a different story. Now, if this was 2016 to 2019 Miz, hell yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's like I was saying though, I don't mind him if it's just really short. I don't mind it because of the way that he won it. There's no way that the Miz would have ever beat Drew McIntyre. We all know that, right? So having the 45-minute Elimination Chamber and then getting beat down by Lashley, it fits perfectly fine. We all know that the Miz cannot survive a match with Bobby Lashley either, so it'll be very interesting to see what they do with it. Deshaun says, hey, AOW just got off work. What happened tonight? Kind of scared to ask. Nothing crazy. It was just a lot of rematches. That is all. Pretty much nothing important happened, just rematches and rematches. Surprisingly, there was no disqualifications, there was no roll-ups, and there was no distraction finishes. Kind of weird. Marcel says, I never liked Drew as a character. It felt boring and a lack of personality. In my opinion, he's a great wrestler. I liked Drew when he became a face and they were kind of letting him be himself. I've enjoyed Drew since then. My only complaints about Drew is that the man is always in his panties. Like, someone give this guy a pair of pants and a shirt to wear around backstage. Like, he doesn't need to be wearing this stuff all the time. Put on some clothes. That's about it, though. That's about it. Other than that, I really enjoyed Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship reign. I saw first says, if Miz goes to WrestleMania with the belt, who can he face? Lashley, McIntyre, both of them. Bad Bunny. There's a handful of people at least that think that Bad Bunny could be the next WWE champion. And boy, if that were to happen, I think the world would explode. Anthony says, just like when Drew was winning a bunch of times, he got hyped to be the champ. Yep. Yeah, Andre, I hope you're right. I hope that Bobby Lashley wins the championship next week. I hope so. Anthony says, make Drew a GoFundMe. He needs some clothes. I thought about it. So what ended up happening here was Bobby Lashley came out and they were talking about the decision that they made. Miz said he needs more time. He wants more time. He's got a lot of challengers, and people need to earn it. People need to earn it if they want a WWE Championship shot. It's a very prestigious title. Yeah, right. And you got to earn it. So Bobby Lashley grabbed him and said, look, you have 1 hour to make up your mind and make the right decision. And if you make the wrong one, I'm going to beat you so bad you're going to be in the hospital. Is pretty much how the opening segment went tonight. Bobby Lashley left. All was good. They put down a big old countdown saying that the Miz has until 9 p.m. Eastern to make a decision, or Bobby Lashley is going to beat him down. Raphael says, shh, there could be WWE creative team members watching. Don't speak about Bad Bunny. I'm sorry. There's some people that think it. I think it would be suicide for WWE to do something like that. Even if he gets, oh God, I cannot stop yawning today. Jesus. Even if he trains and gets pretty good at the Performance Center, he does not belong in that title scene whatsoever. So I'm happy with him where he is. I think he's fitting in just fine. Being up in the World Championship scene with The Miz would be terrible. I Saw First says, if WWE decides to make Bad Bunny the WWE Champion, I will officially quit watching WWE forever after 35 years of watching. Yeah, I think it would be a problem. Warrior says the problem is that WWE only knows how to book the boring "I'm just happy to be here" babyface. Even though I did like his title run, Drew would have been way better as a badass tweener. Yeah, they don't really know how to book good baby faces. They really don't. Heels seem to be much easier for them. Oh my God. Another yawn. Andre says Bad Bunny will not be WWE champion. Take it easy. I mean, I don't think he is. I just saw a couple of people saying that they would go that route, and David Arquette it. Marcel says, I swear to God, the WWE fans are insufferable about Bad Bunny. They saw how he draws big with his posts on Instagram about WWE, yet none of these fans will watch the show. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the weird thing about it, is that Bad Bunny sells them a lot of merch and all of that. And even though he's stupid popular, it has not translated to viewership whatsoever. Bad Bunny has not helped any episode of Raw in any hour slot or in any way, shape, or form. He sold a ton of merch, though. Sold a ton of merch, but that's about it. That's about it. They even gave him the 24/7 championship because he was going to be a guest and a performer on SNL. So, of course, they wanted that title on there. Of course, they wanted all that social media buzz and stuff like that. But it's never translated to viewership, which I think, I mean, of course, they should focus on business and stuff like that. But they should also be trying to figure out ways to get people to watch their shows, because at the end of the day, I mean, isn't that kind of what matters too? Your weekly product? You would think. Because if not, then why even have these shows? There's no fans. The viewership is not there. So why even focus on these shows? So can't we use that excuse for any show? I almost threw up. Obi James says, fun fact, Bad Bunny only follows WWE on Instagram. Yep. I mean, I'm sure it's done wonders for them money wise, but otherwise not so much in viewership. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't see where it's going to pay off in the long run other than money. They're already making record profits, so it's kind of like, take some time and focus on your shows. Get your shows back up to 3 million viewers. Then you have 3 million people buying merch from you, right? Well, not necessarily 3 million, because not every single person is going to, but essentially they'd be almost doubling their viewership again, right? Marcel says the fans' excuse for not helping viewership is that young people don't use cable. So can't that be an excuse for any show? I've never been sold on the whole young people don't use cable and the whole I've cut the cord type deal. I don't think that's the case. Look at how many of these shows are performing extremely well on a daily basis. And you can watch those shows anywhere else as well. I don't think that I don't think that's an excuse. I don't. Sure, I'm sure that is the case, like for a lot of shows, but not to the degree that they think it is. You can't tell me that WWE had 3 million viewers and now all of a sudden half of their viewers have cut the cord. No. I'm sure it's a small percentage of people that have cut the cord. But other than that, I don't think that that's a valid excuse. No, Deshaun, no. No one wants to see Goldberg as the WWE champion. Oh, God. God damn. Ryan says, what if Goldberg put himself in the match with Edge and Roman? Spear versus spear versus spear. I saw it first says, in a recent interview with WWE Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan, Khan singled out Bad Bunny as part of WWE's strategy to attract younger viewers as the promotion continues to struggle in the 18 to 34 demo. But okay, so they don't watch cable. Isn't that what they're saying? They're saying these people don't watch cable to begin with. So I don't know. I think that maybe I'm missing something on this, or I don't know. But I don't think that that is the problem whatsoever. They try to act like having YouTube views and stuff like that is all that matters, and that people are watching it on Hulu and stuff. And it's like, cool. I agree. I agree that those are great things to have and they're very beneficial, but I don't think that having no viewers and having more people watch clips on YouTube is a good thing. That's a bad thing to me. That tells me that your show's not worth watching. That's how I take it. If someone is, probably a lot of people that follow me are probably longtime wrestling fans who are just sick and tired of the shows. So they've given up on watching the shows, but they'll follow me, or they'll follow someone else that does something similar to what I do, and they'll just kind of stay in touch just so that they kind of know what's going on, right? What does that tell you? That tells you the show is not good enough to watch. If someone else watches I think they have a condensed version on Hulu that's like an hour long. If someone does not watch a show on Monday, but yet they watch the condensed version on Hulu the next day, what does that tell you? It tells you that the show is not worth watching. If someone only goes to watch your clips on Twitter or goes to watch your clips on YouTube, it tells you that your show is not worth watching live. And that's all there is to it. If I can go to youtube.com/WWE and I can spend 6 minutes, 7, somewhere between 6 to 10 minutes watching 5 video clips of a 3-hour show and get the gist of everything, why would I sit there for 3 hours and do it? I saw first says, to be honest, some hardcore viewers catch Raw highlights on YouTube rather than watching the entire show. And that's fine, but all that does is tell you that your show's not worth watching. That's all it does, in my opinion. It means your show is not worth watching. Not that young people have cut the cord. It's just not worth tuning in. Andre says 3 hours in front of a TV is way too much time, but they need the money. Yeah, I mean, I use this analogy all the time, and we'll get off of this right after this because we have other stuff to talk about tonight for Raw. But I use this analogy all the time for Raw being too long. 3 hours is way too long for a weekly TV show, okay? Way too long. Movies are usually 2 hours or less. People always complain about movies being too long. Even Endgame, Avengers Endgame, that movie was a decade in the making, and people still bitched and moaned that it was too long. Way too long. What does that tell you about a weekly product that's not even that good, that has no thought put behind it, for a movie that was a decade in the making, that has all the thought and plan in the world put behind it? It just tells you that it's too long. That's all. Marcel says, BTE, watch the women's, or probably BTW, watch the women's tournament from today. The Japanese matches were incredible. I'll have to check them out. And, since you mentioned that, it's very sad that Anna Jay suffered an injury while training. You hate to see that, man. Anna Jay is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So hopefully she gets well soon. I believe they said she could be out of action for 6 to 12 months. So hopefully it's on the shorter side of that. And she's, like I said earlier, she has a bright future ahead of her no matter what. So I'm very excited to see what she's able to do when she gets back in the ring. Marcel says Endgame was only 2 hours and 45 minutes if you exclude the long ass credits. Yeah, so I mean, there you go. There you go. Endgame is shorter than an episode of Raw, and it's too long with a decade of hype behind it and millions of dollars. So there you go. Andre says the problem is that people nowadays complain about everything too, so WWE doesn't care what people say. I mean, they should, because they've lost half of their viewership. You know, I would be more inclined to agree with people that fans are just never happy and that people bitch just to bitch if they could show me that they were doing better in any way. But they're damn near barely scraping by. They're hitting record lows constantly. So it tells me that we're right. These shows aren't worth watching. They're not. JVOJ says they'll probably complain about Zack Snyder's Justice League being 4 hours. They better not. They better not. Marcelo says the Snyder Cut is 4 hours. Got to get character developed for Cyborg and Flash, I guess. Yeah, so yeah, Snyder Cut is 4 hours long. They were going to release them in 4 hour long episodes, but they decided to just release it all at once. 4 hours. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to just sit down and just soak 4 hours of my life into this. I'm going to watch it a bunch of times too, probably. Marcel says, why is the Joker Jesus in Snyder Cut? It's the nightmare sequence. That's why. I think I would assume that the Joker, everything that the Joker is in is just the nightmare. That's all. Jaden says, I wouldn't bitch about the show being 3 hours if it was decent enough to watch. Yeah, I would agree. World says, I fell asleep during the first hour. That's a shame, man, because I thought the first hour was the best part of the show, personally. Raphael says, give us the dream match. Rhino versus Batista versus Lashley versus Goldberg versus Edge versus Reigns. Spear versus Spear versus Spear versus Spear versus Spear versus Spear. Elimination Chamber. Wow. What if the Snyder Cut is shit? I'll be very upset. I'll be very upset. I've been waiting ever since this movie came out, ever since this, ever since Batman v Superman, I've been hyped on Justice League and where this was going. So after all this time, if it ends up being shit, I will be very disappointed. But I think it'll be really easy to be better than the actual Justice League movie that came out. So shouldn't be too hard of a job. Deshaun says, I wish WWE would come to Memphis a lot more often. There are a ton of young kids from age 6 and up that love wrestling. Yeah, I mean, maybe when fans come back, man, maybe towards the end of the year or something. I'm not sure. I think that AEW Double or Nothing is going to be on. I think that it's still going to go down in Vegas. We still have our tickets for it. So everyone has said that it's still on at this point. So we'll see. Marcel says people will crucify Snyder if it's bad. He will be blacklisted. Yeah, he'll probably be pretty screwed. But I think that I have faith. I have faith. I have a lot of faith. I do. I feel like they wouldn't have spent so much money on it if they didn't have faith now. And I think they're even rescoring or recoloring BVS as well. So we'll see. Anthony says, did you notice that Bobby had a boil on his ear? I did not. Did not notice that, no. Raphael says, all right, AOW, I gotta head out. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you, Raphael, for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. Marcel says, by the way, a big card has been announced for AEW this Sunday, like a small pay-per-view on Bleacher Report. Oh, okay, I'll have to check that out. Molly Man says, I hope when fans come back, they chant, fuck you, COVID. Yeah, I hope. It's going to be crazy when fans actually come back. It's going to be really crazy. JVOJ says the original should be bleeped or call it Justice League. We all want to forget that version. Yeah, I would agree. Justice League. Let's get rid of it. Let's see here. James, will you watch Young Rock tomorrow? No, I that's not something that I have any interest in. No interest in. Yeah, I think my fiance was watching Young Rock earlier though on Peacock. But yeah, not a show that would be for me. Not something that I'd watch. All right, so let's get on with the show here. Let's talk about the first match of the night, which was a rematch, kind of, somewhat, some way from last night's Elimination Chamber. We saw Matt Riddle, the new United States Champion Matt Riddle, take on John Morrison in the opening match here tonight, and it was actually pretty good. Despite it being a rematch, it was actually pretty good. And my first surprise of the night, Matt Riddle got a dominant win, clean win over John Morrison. There were no games. No, nothing on this. A nice clean win. Matt Riddle did not get attacked afterwards. No one got distracted. It was beautiful. You love to see it, right? You absolutely love to see it. So hopefully Matt Riddle has a nice dominant run as the United States Champion. Hopefully they throw in some new competitors to him. He has a nice variety of opponents. And to be honest, at this point, I don't even care if they're worthy of having a shot or whatnot. I don't care what their win-loss record is. I just want there to be different people. Just different people. That is all. I do not want to see Matt Riddle feud with John Morrison for 3 months. I do not want to see Matt Riddle feud with anyone for 3 months. I just want to see nice stories being told. Maybe even an open challenge for the United States Championship. I don't care, but just have new people, new competitors. This could be a great way to push Matt Riddle. It seems like they like him. And it's very odd as well because Bobby Lashley beat the living hell out of Matt Riddle week in and week out. So interesting to put the belt on him, but hopefully we are at a fresh start for Matt Riddle. Hopefully they have faith in him and they keep it. Deshaun says you should do a hotline and allow guests to speak on your channel. I do have that set up actually, and we do that from time to time. We do that. If there is a show this Sunday, I'll do it again. I'll do it again on Sunday, and we can just chat and hang out, and anyone can hop in and do and say whatever. It was a lot of fun to do them. The only problem with doing them on these is that it's time consuming, and there's a lot of people that want to talk, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about generally. So it's just kind of hard to keep it going. Marcel says, oh shit, Nia pinned both champions 3 belts. Nia incoming. Yes, she pinned Sasha Banks, Elimination Chamber. She pinned Asuka tonight on Raw. Anthony says, will you ever try to do a watch along? I've thought about it. I've thought about maybe doing a watch along. Here's my idea. Here's my idea. And you guys that are here can let me know what you think about this idea. The idea would be to have a watch along it would just be for Raw and SmackDown. It wouldn't be for Dynamite because I still watch NXT for that as well. And my fiance watches those as well. So the watch along would be for Raw and SmackDown for the entire time. There might be like some breaks when I have to like do some stuff for like 5 or 10 minutes in between, but the watch along would be for the entirety of the show. There would be no post show, and then there would be a video review the next morning instead. I've thought about that. I wouldn't want to do the watch along and then a post show afterwards, because we'd kind of be talking about the show the entire time. And it would just be a long time to be live, like 5 hours. So, Molly says, is this the first show in a while where Philip hasn't talked about the Nexus or Carlito? I don't think he's here. I don't think he's here. He was here at the beginning. Anthony says, I don't like that. Yeah, because I mean, it would be hard to talk about something as it's going on and then do the post show afterwards and talk about it again. You know, essentially it would just be like one 5-hour post show on Monday, and then a 4-hour one on SmackDown. So I think this format kind of fits better. Maybe I'll give it a try one time or for a week or something like that. Maybe we could do both for like a week or two to try it out, to do the show and then the post show. I don't know. It's a lot of streaming. It's a lot of talking. But if there's interest, there's interest, I guess, you know. Anyways, okay, so after this match, WWE teased that Rhea Ripley will be coming soon to Monday Night Raw. Thank God. Thank God. I'm very happy to see Rhea Ripley going to Monday Night Raw. They need her a lot. A lot. And I really hope that they don't do any sort of shenanigans with Rhea Ripley. She's already been taken down by Charlotte Flair when Charlotte beat her for the NXT Women's Championship. That was terrible. We never saw that play out. We never saw a benefit for Ripley from that. So it's nice to see that she's finally coming to Raw. We haven't seen her for a couple weeks now, if I remember correctly. Maybe even like 2 months. Maybe. I can't remember the last date, but they're finally teasing her. When she'll actually debut, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if it'll be next week or a couple of weeks ahead. I'm not quite sure. Anthony says, AOW, who do you think SmackDown needs from NXT? I don't know. Adam Cole? If Adam Cole's going to leave, I would love to see Adam Cole go to NXT if he's leaving after this Undisputed Era feud. Other than that, you know, actually, I wouldn't mind Cameron Grimes leaving and going to Raw or SmackDown. I think that Cameron Grimes would fit in very well on Raw. He has like that gimmicky, hokey shit written all over him, and he's very entertaining. He can pull it off. So Cameron Grimes on Monday Night Raw, I think fits. I think it fits. Jaden says maybe she could challenge Asuka. That would be the hope for that. Warrior says Raw desperately needs Rhea. I can see it being Asuka versus Charlotte versus Rhea at Mania. Yeah, they definitely could. They could definitely do that. It kind of seemed like they were teasing a Charlotte versus Asuka tonight by the way that things were shaping up. So, and you know, I wonder if this Rhea Ripley thing was something that was planned, or if it's something that just kind of came together pretty quickly, considering that Lacey Evans is now out. Because I had Lacey Evans beating Asuka to be the Raw Women's Champion, and then I had Lacey Evans versus Charlotte at WrestleMania with Charlotte beating Lacey. That's what I had. I saw it first, says deep inside I do miss Philip. Carlito and Nexus mentioned with multiple spams feels like part of the show. It does, right? It kind of seems kind of weird. Everyone, the chat will rejoice when Philip returns. They'll go crazy. He'll get a huge pop. Mally says Rhea debuting is something that should have happened right after the Rumble. Yeah, I would agree. Chloe says they partner Rhea with Peyton Royce. Oh God, if they just fit her right into right into Lacey's storyline. Rhea Ripley is blonde, and you know Ric Flair has a thing for the blondes. God, that would be terrible. James says Rhea versus Becky would be absolute fire, considering that they're both my favorite female wrestlers. There you go, man. Anthony says Ripley will come to Raw after Fastlane to get that Asuka versus Ripley feud hyped up at Mania. Maybe, yeah. So what we have two more episodes of Raw, I think, at this point before Fastlane. So yeah, maybe. I mean, that's definitely possible. 2 more video packages, Fastlane, and then bam, there she is. Maybe even a debut at Fastlane for sure. Obi James says, I'm going to head out. Have a good night. Thank you, man, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you Wednesday for the Wednesday Night Wars show. There's 4 more episodes. Is there? Fastlane 2021. Fastlane is on Sunday, March 21st. So 1, 2, 3. No, we only have 3 more episodes. 3 more episodes. We have next week, March 1st. The week after, March 8th. Then the next week, March 15th, and then March 21 is that Sunday. So yeah, 3 more. King D says SmackDown's ratings went up this past week. Oh, I always forget to do SmackDown's ratings. I always forget. I'm gonna need to like get a to-do list or something. Snape says just joined, but Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, and Keith Lee at Mania ? Hey, I would love that match. I would love it. I hope that they haven't lost faith in Keith Lee. I hope that I mean, this is kind of terrible to wish that he's injured, but I hope that he's okay, and I hope that it's something small that's keeping him from wrestling. I hope that it's not that Vince McMahon does not like him. I hope that it's not that Vince McMahon has lost faith in him, because Keith Lee is extremely talented. He deserves to be where he's at. There's nothing better than seeing a big man like Keith Lee defying the odds and doing the things that he shouldn't be doing. So we'll see. Deshaun says, why do WWE like to break up tag teams just to put them in other tag teams? I have no idea. Marcel says, you said Keith Lee isn't injured. I haven't heard anything about him being injured. I saw that Sean Ross Sapp posted something about, I believe he knows why he's not there, but he said it's no one's business, from what I understand. So it could be something personal going on in his life or whatever. It's not my business to pry, but I'm hoping that it's not that they've lost faith in him. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find out with what happened. Reckoning was back on TV today, so it's probably not some pandemic COVID related thing. So we'll see. James says, I think Randy was coughing up ink. Alexa turned the Viper into a squid. maybe me and Ian beat him up again or something, you know? I don't know. JVOJ says, I thought Vince liked big and muscular guys. I thought so too, but apparently he's not high on Keith Lee, Aleister Black, or Andrade. He apparently doesn't care, which is very surprising to me, because those 3 guys are incredibly talented. How you could look at Aleister Black, Andrade, and Keith Lee, or Keith Lee, and not see someone extremely talented. And honestly, I think all of those guys are world champion material as well. So to not see that is pretty crazy. No, Andre, I have not seen Keith Lee's documentary. I have not. Mally says, all right, I'm heading out, AOW. I promise to show up for the Wednesday Night War. Until then, have a great rest of the Raw post show. Thank you for tuning in. Always a pleasure to see you. And yes, hopefully to see you on Wednesday for the Dynamite post show. Should be a good one. Warrior says, imagine having Keith Lee, one of the best big guy wrestlers in the world, and seeing nothing in him. Yeah, I don't get it. Raphael says, yeah, Vince loves to push all the big guys from Strowman to Big Show all the way to Nia Jax, except for the one we want to see succeed the most. Yeah, but okay, so see, if you take those people, right? You take Strowman, you take Big Show, and you take Big Oof, right? They're completely different. In every single way to Keith Lee. Keith Lee's not a big guy wrestler. He jumps over the top rope. He does avalanche Spanish flies. He does the things that he's not supposed to do as a big man, which I find incredible. I think that's amazing to see. So maybe that's where the disconnect is. I don't want to see Keith Lee be some generic big guy. We have enough of those. Keith Lee is unique and he's fantastic. So I hope everything is well with him, and I hope that everything is fine in WWE with him as well. I guess we'll have to see. I saw first, as Dave Meltzer reported, the original plan was to have Keith Lee win the US belt, and the plan was changed. I wouldn't be surprised, because I thought the same thing. I definitely thought that Keith Lee was going to be the United States champion. James says, if Def Rebel dared to put their hands on Rhea Ripley's awesome CFO theme song, I would completely lose my mind. They played it. for her little promo, so maybe they won't change it. Anthony says Keith Lee should just be himself and kick some ass. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree completely. Next up, we saw a backstage segment here with Bad Bunny chatting with Damian Priest, and they look over and see R-Truth hiding over in the corner with a referee, and he was all scared and said like, oh, hey, you know, I'm not. Came over, and it was kind of cool to have an explanation here on why people haven't been chasing around Bad Bunny. Essentially, pretty much everyone's scared of Damian Priest. They don't want to mess with Bad Bunny because they know Damian Priest will be by his side, and they're going to get an ass whooping. Even if he is not by their side, he's going to seek them out, and they're gonna get that ass whooping. So they'll either get it there or he'll deliver it to them when he sees them next. So I liked this. I liked everything that had happened at this point on Raw. I thought all of this stuff was great. I love the logic. Even the slightest bit of logic, it means the world to me. It means the world to me, and it makes things much more enjoyable when I can just be like, hey, okay, that actually makes sense. Okay, yeah, I have no problem with that whatsoever. So this was good. R-Truth called him Bugs Bunny once again, and Damian Priest got up in his face and was like, he's not Bugs Bunny, this is Bad Bunny. So all is good. I liked all of this stuff here. Anthony says, what if Humberto pins Bad Bunny? That would be great. That would be great, because then, you know, Damian Priest's gonna deliver that ass whooping. He's gonna get it. He's gonna find him and he's gonna get it. This is where Raw really started to take a turn for the worst, if you ask me. The New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods took on the Foot Clans, T-Bar, and Mace. Why? We've seen these matchups so much. It's like they're so... what words am I looking for here? They're just so uncreative that they're literally just running back the same thing over and over and over and over. So the least creative thing to do would be to have one person run through an entire stable from front to back. That is not very creative. I guess the first time you do it, it's not that bad. I guess. If it was booked correctly. I don't think Ricochet or whoever the hell it was. Yeah, it was Ricochet. I don't think he won all of those matches. I can't really remember off the top of my head because I really was not paying attention during any of those. The least creative thing that you could do is to do that same exact thing over again, but with someone else. So now they're doing it with with Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods has been fighting a member of Retribution for well over a month and a half, 2 months. He's been fighting someone from Retribution, and now Kofi Kingston has entered the chat as well, and he is a part of it. Andre says, do you think Retribution will split? Ollie was really upset. I was really excited when Ollie grabbed a mic and he was pissed off and he was like trash talking everyone in Retribution. I was really hoping that they all would have just beat down on him. That's what I was hoping. And I was going to be like, this is the greatest episode of Raw I've ever seen. But it did not happen. So hopefully it does. I think that Retribution needs to implode. And I think what needs to happen with them is exactly kind of like what we thought was going to happen tonight. Ali continues to push them and talk down to them because they're not succeeding. They all turn on him. They beat down Mustafa Ali. And then they're like, we never needed you. You haven't helped us do anything. All of this stuff was trash. What is shaving my head and putting on this stupid dollar store Bane mask done for me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So they beat the hell out of him. They all go back to being normal. I want to see Donovan Dickhead. I don't want to see T-Bar. Mace, I've said this all the time. Mace is cool. Mace can continue to be Mace. I like him. I like his character. I like the way he looks. I like all of that. So, like, he can continue to be him if he doesn't want to go back to being Dio Madden. I like the Mace character. Slapnuts, really? Like, I think that one's self-explanatory, right? We don't need Slapnuts. No, get rid of that crap. Reckoning hasn't done anything. Nothing. Zip, zilch, nada. Go back to being Mia Yim, pair her up with Keith Lee, do whatever the hell you want. Anything other than this Foot Clan, just be done. Swipe it under the rug. We'll move on like nothing ever happened. If they can do this, they promoted Asuka versus Lacey Evans even on the pre-show, I believe. If they can do that and then just not ignore, or like just completely ignore the fact that they've been promoting it and just act like it was never even going to happen, they could do that with them too. Just get rid of it. It's over. It's done. Everyone will be happy. I promise. Basili says, in my opinion, Braun's push ended when he brought a kid to be his tag team partner at WrestleMania. Nicholas, and I get WrestleMania Nicholas. I get what Vince was trying to do, trying to get people to think, wow, this could be happen to me too. I hated that, man. He beat the Bar, didn't he? That was Sheamus and Cesaro that lost that match, which pissed me off because I love the Bar. They're one of my favorites. I hated that. Marcel says Retribution needs to join the Dark Order. James says, did you hear about Parker Bordeaux, the guy who looks like Brock Lesnar? If WWE can't think of a name for him, then Bork Laser. I think Parker Bordeaux is good. Scarlett is not Scarlett Bordeaux. She's just Scarlett. So they could use that last name. And who knows when he'll actually even be ready. He's supposed to be a part of the new Performance Center class, I believe, right? So it'll still probably be a while before anyone sees him on TV. Unless it's maybe the NXT Evolve stuff. But who knows? JBOJ says Ricochet should go after the United States title again. He only held it for a few weeks in his first reign. He should have held it at least till SummerSlam. I'm down to see Ricochet versus Matt Riddle. Sure. I don't think he should win it, but I wouldn't mind seeing those matches. I saw first as Matt Morgan in an interview stated he was doing a superstar press move in OVW, and Jim Cornette pulled him into the office to say no one wants to see a 7-foot Rey Mysterio. Same as lead WWE mentality. Yes, we do want to see a 7-foot Rey Mysterio. We do, 100%. I want to see that. Personally, I mean, I don't want to see like 20 people doing it, but if you have one unique guy who can defy the odds, like by all means, please. Anthony says, Reckoning was going to feud with Asuka. Not interested. Not interested. All right, what's next? Jaden says the Parker guy blocked me because I said he looked like Brock Lesnar off of Wish. Oh, God. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. So here's where the show continued to decline, in my opinion. The hour was over, and it was time for the Miz to make his decision on what he's going to do about Bobby Lashley. So Adam Pearce got involved with all of this. The Miz came out. Bobby Lashley came out with MVP. And the Miz said he wanted more time. He said he needed a week or a month or something like that. And then Braun Strowman came out and said that he was... oh, God. Did I save it? Did I save it? I did. He said clarified. He said, I am more clarified instead of qualified. And just ended up whining, saying that he deserved to be in the Elimination Chamber match. And then Shane McMahon, man. Shane McMahon came out. James says, good night. Thanks, man. Thanks for tuning in, James. Thank you, as always. Hope to see you for Wednesday night as well. But yeah, so Braun is complaining about not being in the Elimination Chamber. Shane McMahon comes out, and this part was actually pretty funny because he was like, Braun, you're stupid as hell. This match was only for previous WWE champions, and you yourself said that you're not a WWE champion or former WWE champion. You're a former Universal champion. And Braun just continued to cry and said, that's stupid. That's stupid. I'm just a 25-foot nerd. That's stupid. I don't like that. That's stupid. And he said that he deserves a shot at the WWE Championship and Bobby Lashley doesn't. And I was like, man, this is trash. This is absolute trash. Bobby Lashley made a deal with The Miz, so it only makes sense that he gets a match. Braun Strowman comes out here and cries and says that's stupid. and now he's granted a match against Bobby Lashley. So at this point in the show, we 100% knew that The Miz would be defending his WWE Championship next week on Raw against Bobby Lashley, no matter what. Tonight's main event was made here as well, and it was Braun Strowman taking on Bobby Lashley. If Braun Strowman won the main event, he would be added to the match next week, and it would have become a triple threat match. So I was like, damn, they're going to do it, aren't they? They're going to have it be a triple threat match, then it'll be no DQ, and then they will find a way to keep the strap on The Miz. Oh, I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't figure out a way to keep the strap on The Miz. I think next week it is time to crown Bobby Lashley as the new WWE Champion. I don't see any other way around it. I don't. Deshaun says, what does Shane have anything to do with what's going on? I have no clue. He showed up to make the Elimination Chamber match or something like that. It's the week that he showed up. I didn't have power, so I have no idea. And I certainly was not going to go back to watch it. Marcel says, you DM me a 30-second clip of barbed wire explosion. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out after the show for sure. Nice accent. Yeah, that's my Braun Strowman nerd accent. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair. It's stupid. I'm 25 feet tall and it's stupid. I saw first says, you can see the setup. Braun versus Shane at WrestleMania, a WrestleMania underground match. Oh, God. Oh, I would just beat my head against my microphone if I had to see another Raw underground match. I pray to God that that never comes back. JVOJ says, Strowman ain't the same like he was back in 2017, and it's a shame. I agree. That Braun Strowman from back then, the best way I think, like for me to visualize it and remember it, is just when Braun Strowman was killing Roman Reigns on Raw every single week. He was like throwing him in a trash can. He was like took down the Titantron on top of him. Like that was your prime Braun Strowman right there. That was your Universal Champion right then and there. I don't think anyone would have complained about it. It would have been awesome. It would have ruled. In 2021, I personally, I don't even want to see Braun Strowman on my TV, period. He hasn't done anything interesting. He looks like he's on break from the construction. Like, it's weird as hell. It's weird as hell. Tam versus Lashley versus McIntyre versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. Yeah, we've seen a lot of people talk about that. Chloe says, I missed the flipping the ambulance Braun. Yeah, like all of that stuff from back in the day, like that was the time to do it. Now it's not so much. And I hate the whole like, oh, you know, when he became Universal Champion. I mean, this is not, I feel like a dick for saying this, but you know, like when he became Universal Champion, he was like, look, fight for your dreams because you can do it and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, look, we get it. Okay. Yes, you are the Universal Champion, but it only took a global pandemic and it only took the top guy to back out of WrestleMania for you to get that. Like, come on, relax. Like, let's just back it up a little bit. Let's just chill a little bit. Okay. Like we get it. Anthony says it's the haircut, the baldness. Yeah, man, I don't like it. I have no interest in anything that Braun Strowman is doing right now. Period. So I hated that this got announced. Next up was another rematch. We saw Damian Priest taking on Angel Garza. This match was a little bit longer. It was a decent match. I didn't mind the match at all. Not Angel Garza. Damian Priest gets the win over Angel Garza. Another clean, decisive victory. No problems there. No problem whatsoever. I thought that was great. Damian Priest puts on his vest. And then out comes... hold on. Bad Bunny gets in the ring with Damian Priest, okay? And then out of nowhere, that low life, no love having scumbag Humberto Carrillo tried to attack Bad Bunny and win his 24/7 championship, but Damian Priest said, nah, bro, and respectfully kicked his head off of his shoulders. And I respect it. I respect that a lot. Nothing but love for Damian Priest. Damian Priest is doing the Lord's work here. Seth Rollins should be very proud of Damian Priest. He's doing what he couldn't achieve. He is somewhat sacrificing Carrillo, taking out the trash. What a superstar, man. Damian Priest is the greatest. I love him. Absolutely love him. Manish says, what's next for Riddle? I have no idea. Hopefully just like an open challenge or something. I don't know who would logically challenge him. I saw it first says, I love Braun when he was working as a valet by parking cars in the lot by flipping them. They did a lot of car flipping stuff for Braun, it seems like, back in the day. It was wild as hell. Good Lord. So yeah, good segment here. The Geeks tried to take the 24/7 championship from Bad Bunny, and Damian Priest stopped him. So you'll love to see it. You know, they explained why people weren't doing it earlier on in the show, and then they proved why they weren't doing it either. So great. It was Humberto Carrillo the one that gave Braun Strowman the haircut. I would believe it, man. I would absolutely believe it. Next up, we had a weird replay of a replay that happened last week that happened of a replay that happened last week as well. It was weird. It was weird. It was a promo from Randy, and while he was talking, he coughed. And I was like, is this a real cough? Or is this a fake cough? My intensifies is what happened for me. And then out of nowhere, this man's just coughing up black blood left and right. Crazy visual. Absolutely crazy. And I have no idea what happened because my stream cut off. Orton started coughing up all of this black stuff. And like literally as soon as it happened, my stream just completely cut off. So I wasn't sure if something else happened after this, but very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. Marcel says, man, this Orton Fiend feud has gone on way too long. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Way too long. And this whole thing that they tried to do where they took Bray Wyatt and the Fiend out of the picture and inserted Alexa Bliss has not helped whatsoever. I think a lot of the stuff that they've done has been somewhat entertaining. I missed the whole pentagram thing that they did last week because that was the week I didn't have power. So I missed that, but this hasn't like revived this feud for me. This hasn't been a good way to extend it to me. This has all just gone on way too long. And it kind of sucks too because Randy Orton's feud with Drew McIntyre went on way too long as well. Way too long. And if we're going to have to wait until WrestleMania until we see Randy and the Fiend, that's April 10th and April 11th. Like, we still have a long ways to go still. We have like five more episodes of Raw, I think, right? 6 more episodes of Raw before WrestleMania, something like that. So like we still got a long ways to go with this, and we haven't even seen the Fiend yet. We don't even know what's going on. There's been 0 teasers of the Fiend being alive, if you will, or back, if you will. Alexa Bliss has always said that like he will return and yada yada yada, but never that he is here. I don't know how they're gonna pull this off, and it's a huge shame because if this is the route, I mean, I hope that they have something huge planned for the Fiend, because if they don't, this will have benefited him none, and will be right where we left off. I say this all the time. The Fiend should be a very special attraction. He should not be seen all of the time. None of this stuff should be done all of the time. The Fiend should always be story driven, period. Always. If there's not a story for the Fiend, he should not be there, period. The Fiend should not lose Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. The Fiend should never wrestle on Raw or SmackDown. Period. The Fiend should always be a pay-per-view attraction. Always. So they've completely ruined The Fiend from the start. The Fiend does not belong in a championship picture. Ever. No. And more importantly, I don't ever want to hear The Fiend speak. I hope that never happens. I don't. The Fiend pointing at the WrestleMania sign bothered me so much because it's so out of character. I didn't like it. So I compare The Fiend and Kane a lot, often. And I hope that The Fiend's career, I guess, if you will, or character development does not go the same way that Kane's did. Where he's talking, I'm just remembering like corporate Kane. So I'm just picturing like the Fiend mask and the dreads just in a suit. Anthony says, you don't like when the Fiend says, let me in. The let me in is fine. But what I'm talking about is like, I don't want to see the Fiend come to the ring and be like,
hey, Randy Orton, you've been a bitch lately, and you're gonna fight me at WrestleMania, and I'm gonna burn you alive since you killed me, you bitch.
Like, I don't ever want to hear that. Ever. But the let me in is completely fine. I don't mind it. That's all. But that's it. That's where it stops. We'll see, though. We'll see. We're apparently on this road to WrestleMania. It certainly does not feel like it, but who knows? Next up was oh God, this match was terrible. Another rematch once again. Big Oof and Shayna Baszler taking on Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Why is this match happening again? This match was not good at all. Shayna Baszler, I swear to God, it looked like she took Asuka's head off of her shoulders, like for real. That kick to her head when she was laying down looked brutal. Absolutely brutal. And like shortly after that, like right when that happened, the ref got like right in her face, was like trying to talk to her. And I think it was Shayna Baszler that she ended up getting behind. It looked like she was asleep. It looked like she was completely out on her feet when she was behind her. It was like, oh, it was brutal looking. So I really hope that Asuka is okay because, man, that kick, Jesus Christ, that kick was wild. And, of course, guess who wins? Of all people, Big Oof is the one that wins. For some reason, Big Oof is booked so strong. Aside from losing to Reginald, which was kind of weird. Anytime that this team usually loses, it's usually Shayna Baszler is the one that takes the L. Like I said, aside from last week's SmackDown where Nia lost to Reginald, it's usually always Shayna that takes the L, and it's always Big Oof that takes the W. If you did not watch Elimination Chamber last night, Big Oof beat SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks in the match. Tonight on Raw, Big Oof beats Raw Women's Champion Asuka. Does that mean that she's entitled to championship matches for the Raw and the SmackDown Women's Championship now? Are they going to throw 3 championships on Big Oof? Is she going to be the Kenny Omega? Is she going to collect all the gold? Is that what's going on? Gerard says Vince likes Nia. Like, how? Like, this match was not good. None of this was good. Even Charlotte looked to be off in this. Like, the powerbomb looks so weird. Like, it looked like she literally put her foot over her shoulder to do it. It didn't look like a kick. And anyway, it was just, I don't know. It was not good. The Raw Women's division is god awful. God awful. Bibba says, I think you blocked my Instagram today on accident. Me? Really? Put your @ down and I'll unblock you. My apologies. Warrior says, I just want to know why Shayna never gets to pick up the wins. Remember when she beat Banks Bailey at the same time to win the titles? I missed that booking for her. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, Shayna Baszler is doing nothing great in this. She's always the one that takes the L. She's never the one that takes the win. It's weird. And it's really weird that this tag team has lasted as long as it has. Never in a million years did I actually think that Nia and Shayna would have won the titles, let alone held them for this long and remained a team for this long. And at this point, I'm kind of terrified for them to split up, because if that happens, I think it's going to be bad. I think Nia Jax will probably be the one to beat Shayna Baszler, and that would really suck. Elijah B. Oh, weird. Yeah, I must have. My apologies. Because I don't even remember that name. I remember that name. There you go. Unblocked. My apologies, my friend. I must have thought I was clicking on someone else. Anthony says, I agree that both Nia and Shayna are both badass, but it's just like putting Roman and Brock for the tag titles. I don't get it, man. Gerard says they're going to Mania probably. I don't think so. I think that Raquel and Dakota Kai are going to take the titles off of them on NXT. And those titles should remain in NXT. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, when they get those titles, they need to hold on to them for dear life. Because I said this earlier, and I'll say this here again, WWE has put a lot of focus on the women's tag team championships as of late. They've been featured on every single show. They've been featured on the pay-per-views. And because of that, all these random teams have teamed up together to fight for them. Asuka's Raw Women's Championship reign has been god awful. They have sacrificed the singles division in both women's divisions, quote unquote divisions for that, because what divisions? They've sacrificed the Raw and SmackDown women's divisions just for these tag titles. And these tag titles are no more interesting. They're no more prestigious than they were months and months and months ago when they weren't even focusing on them whatsoever. So while trying to bring this up, they've not only managed to fail to do that, but they've brought down the other sides as well. Why are Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair teaming together to try to get the women's tag team championships? Just pick who you're facing. Like, we don't need all this crap going on. We already know who Bianca Belair is going to pick. Bianca doesn't even show up on Raw. She doesn't care about Asuka whatsoever. Just have her pick Sasha Banks, start the feud, and let's go. Like, all this other stuff is so unnecessary. It's so weird. Basili says, Damian Priest, a disciple of Father Rollins? Perhaps. Maybe. Maybe. I saw versus AOW calling it out. Orton versus Bliss at WrestleMania. Orton said he is tired of Bliss interfering in his matches. Yeah. I can assume that maybe we'll have an Orton Bliss match, maybe at like Fastlane or something, and that is where a Fiend will return. I could see that happening. Warrior says poor Asuka has suffered the most in this. Only in WWE would the champion suffer the most in a feud. Yeah, it's brutal. Like, her entire reign has been so bad. I feel terrible for her. Absolutely terrible. Like, she's done absolutely nothing. She's constantly taking the L. Charlotte was in this match. Why couldn't she lose? Why couldn't Asuka accidentally hit Charlotte Flair with a move and cost them the match that way? That would have made a little bit more sense as well later on when Charlotte went up to Ric Flair saying that she wants him to go home and she just wants them to have their name back. Uh-oh. Did I get booted? Okay. Still live apparently, but my YouTube stream page just crashed. The chat. Okay. All right. I'm back. Okay. Shayna better be Raw Women's Champion. I mean, well, with Rhea Ripley entering the picture now, who knows? Who knows? Andre says, when is Lana and Naomi going to get their title shots? That's a good question. Really good question. We have two #1 contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championships, yet they gave Sasha and Bianca a shot at the titles. But Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, theirs is scheduled for March 3rd, I believe. Is that the correct date? Wednesday would be March 3rd. Yes. So NXT is trying to counter the Shaq episode of Dynamite. So we have both of the Dusty Classic tag team matches on that episode. So maybe they'll do it next week. Maybe they'll have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler beat Lana and Naomi, and then they'll head into NXT and defend them and lose them. That would be my guess. Or, maybe they won't, and Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez will win them, and then they'll just go to Raw and they'll defend them against Lana and Naomi. That's a possibility as well, I guess. If they ruin Rhea Ripley, I swear to God, yeah, man, I hope they don't do that. Who's going to contend for the United States Championship, says Pro Gamer? I have no clue, dude. I have no clue. So next up was another rematch, which I don't really think we needed to see. Both of these guys were in the Elimination Chamber last night, but then they also had that god-awful feud that lasted way too long with Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, the whole car wreck thing, the whole drinking alcohol thing, and Elias thought that Jeff Hardy still ran him over, and yada, 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 yada. Why this happened, I have no idea. It was a good match, but man, I had completely tuned out at this point. This show was just so boring. Like I felt like nothing of substance really happened tonight, other than that at the start of the show. The very first part of the show was like the only interesting thing that we really got. Other than that, it's pretty much stuff that we see every single week. Randy Orton, Fiend, Alexa Bliss stuff. Yeah, we see it. All these other rematches for all these other things, yada, yada, yada. Like we see all of these things every single week. So it was like, you just kind of tune it out, I guess, at that point where it's like, I've seen this so many times that I can't be bothered anymore. Bibba says, if The Miz retains against Lashley, he's 100% dropping it to Morrison or Jeff Hardy. No more words. I think both of those are terrible options too. Like Jeff Hardy has done almost nothing but lose. Same with Morrison. Like none of these people actually deserve to have a WWE Championship reign, in my opinion. Not in their current state. Obviously that can change at the drop of a dime. If WWE wants to do, it seems like WWE's new thing for success is to have someone run a gauntlet match. So if they wanted to go that route, they could just put like John Morrison in a gauntlet match or Jeff Hardy in a gauntlet match and have him enter first and have him go through and win the whole entire thing or something. Like that's the way that they're trying to build people up these days. So whatever, cool, do it. But other than that, yeah, no, I have no interest in that. Bobby Lashley should win the WWE Championship from The Miz and just run with it. That would be my guess. Marcel says Raw is rematch. Yeah, no longer is Raw war. Raw is not war. Raw is rematch. Pro Gamer says Finn Balor should go to SmackDown if he gets called up. I would keep Finn Balor in NXT for as long as possible. And when I'm done with Finn Balor in NXT, I'd send Finn Balor to NXT UK. Give us that Finn Balor and Walter match. Let's do it. Anthony says they have not faced each other since June, but it was such a long feud. Felt like yesterday. It was really, I don't know. I posted a picture of it afterwards where Jeff Hardy threw the piss and Sheamus's face. I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. Next up, we saw the little backstage segment here with Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair, where Charlotte was just crying, saying that she's not working at the caliber that she used to. She's not the same person that she used to be. She doesn't want Rick to continue to tarnish the Flair name. She doesn't want to be Ric Flair's daughter. She just wants to be Charlotte Flair. And someone actually said, someone after left a funny comment that I want to read while I'm looking at this. This is from Playboy Carmax on my Instagram. He said, Charlotte, I want to be Charlotte Flair, not Ric Flair's daughter. And then he says, Charlotte literally does his entire gimmick, has a similar theme song, and has the robe. So like she's doing like the exact same thing that he does, but doesn't want to be compared to him. Like how? How? So I didn't care about any of this. I'm ready for all of this to be off of my TV. I'm really ready for all of this. She told Ric Flair to go home. I hope that Ric Flair went home, and I hope he's chilling. I hope he's chilling. Next up was a match between Lana and Naomi. They were taking on Mandy, Rose, and Dana Brooke. This was another women's tag team match. Lana and Naomi are number one contenders for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, and this match was like a minute and 30 seconds long. That is it. Lana and Naomi ended up squashing Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. This was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I have no idea. I mean, I guess they just wanted screen time for this. That would be my guess. But this was pointless. And I thought they split up Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville so that Mandy Rose could be a singles competitor. We still haven't seen that. They paired her with Dana Brooke and they're doing absolutely nothing. Like, come on. Warrior says this was the most pointless match on the show. Yeah, 100%. And it was only a minute and 30 seconds, I think, somewhere around there. Vasily says, can we just call this match a filler? Yeah, essentially. Pro Gamer says, at least Naomi and Lana get some momentum. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you see, like, to me, squashing people, it's not that beneficial to me. Like, I don't really think that Lana and Naomi get anything out of this. I would have preferred to see a promo from them or something rather than see this. This just makes Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke look like a bunch of nerds. Plus, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke have been teaming together for months now. Lana and Naomi just randomly teamed up like 2 weeks ago. And they're beating them? Like, I don't know. I guess this just always goes to the thing that WWE will always prefer random ass tag teams that don't belong together rather than actual tag teams. Even though that Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke is a random ass team of people who don't belong together, but they've done it for months now, so they're kind of a tag team, if you get my gist. Marcel says, as Alvarez says, they look like geeks. Yes, everyone just looks dumb. Completely dumb. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Another match that came out of left field was AJ Styles taking on Ricochet. Weird match. It was a good match. And, you know, I talk about how Ricochet deserves more all the time. So it's always interesting to see him on Raw. But this was a case of if you need a job, you got to call your boy Ricochet to do it because, let's face it, someone had to take the L tonight. And it's very interesting. AJ Styles has been protected so much recently. AJ Styles was the gatekeeper for the Royal Rumble. He beat like 2 or 3 people for that. He's been very protected aside from like the Elimination Chamber. So what is it that they have planned for AJ Styles? Maybe they don't have anything planned for him, but they're just trying to keep him strong, or he just wants to look strong. I think we talked about this a couple of times. AJ wanted to face Edge at WrestleMania, but of course that's not going to happen. So he said his next option was he wants Triple H. So maybe they're somehow, some way going to start working towards that. I would love to see AJ Styles versus Triple H at WrestleMania. I have no problem with that match whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to see how that takes shape, if it is going to take shape. But I think it's very interesting how well they're protecting AJ. And after the match, after AJ Styles beat Ricochet, Omos picked up Ricochet, lifted him up over his head, and just dropped him on the mat, which is cool. I like Omos. And I really like the pairing with AJ Styles and Omos as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward with him. Like, it's been a really, really, really slow burn introducing Omos. Like, he's come a long ways from being like the weird bodyguard for Raw Underground and like the nameless guy that was just standing behind AJ Styles. So they're slowly introducing him. I wonder if it's going to turn into sort of like an AJ Styles and Omos feud, or if they're just going to be together for a while, or if AJ Styles is just going to unleash Omos onto the world or something. I'm not sure, but I do find it very interesting. Big Boss says, well, it is his last run before he goes. Maybe they're doing all this so he doesn't decide to change his mind and show up with the rest of the elite. So, I mean, I've thought about that, but the thing with that is that if AJ Styles finishes up his career in WWE, he'll get a Legends contract, he'll get paid forever, and he'll have to do minimal work. He'll probably get into the WWE Hall of Fame. He'll probably be called back to do special segments here and there for things. If he finishes his contract with WWE and goes to AEW just to play with the elite and play with the Bullet Club, he loses all of that. He loses all of that. There's no way in hell that they would allow him to go do all of that and then sign him to a weird WWE Legends contract. I don't see that happening. So we'll probably see AJ just fade away in WWE. I can't see him doing anything else. Warrior says, I feel like since Omos is doing more than just standing around, they might be getting them ready for tag titles. Maybe. One of the things is that I think it's AJ Styles who wants to tag with Finn Balor. He says that's the one thing that he hasn't done and that he would love to do. So whenever Finn Balor is done being the NXT champion in NXT, if they're not going to do the NXT UK stuff with Walter, bring Finn Balor to SmackDown, to Raw, have him team up with AJ Styles and have them revive the tag team division together. I would love to see that. Tamper says, how many more years does AJ have left? I'm not sure. I'm never really good with contracts. I don't memorize those at all. Let's see here. Jonas says, how many NXT call-ups are going to SmackDown? I'm not even sure if there are going to be any really for WrestleMania. I'm not sure. Marcel says, apparently Omos did not impress the PC people. He's a bad wrestler. I mean, I can picture that for someone as big as him. It's probably pretty difficult. Anthony says, just like Chris Jericho, because he was going to be a legend because he was in the WWE for a long time. Yeah, but Chris Jericho was in WWE for a really long time. So it's possible that someday if he ever decides to go back, WWE would let him. And he said that he was very open about to all of this with Vince. He said he talked about all of this with him. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Next up was the main event match. This match was like 4 minutes, and it was Bobby Lashley taking on Braun Strowman. If Braun Strowman wins this match, he will be inserted into the WWE Championship next week on Raw. I thought that this match was going to end in a disqualification. I thought that there was going to be some sort of hokey stuff going on, and I'm very surprised that there wasn't. Very surprised. And I'm actually not mad at the match whatsoever. It was just a big boy match, and they just went and did their thing. Anthony says it was 8 or 7 minutes. Was it? Because I'm pretty sure it was like 8:56 while Bobby Lashley was making his entrance. Pro Gamer says, Dear Vince, please stop being petty and utilize your talent. Let's see if Cage Match has them up yet. They do. Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman was 4 minutes and 20 seconds. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. That is all. So there you go. There you go on that one. But it was a big boy match. There was a lot of big boy stuff going on here. And Bobby Lashley looked dominant as hell. He kicked out of Braun Strowman's running slam. So they have the rocket strapped to the back of Bobby Lashley, and he is going to the moon. All the way to the moon, if not past the moon. They got that rocket strapped to him. So next week he will take on The Miz on Raw for the WWE Championship. Maybe something will happen. Maybe The Miz will get disqualified. I don't know. I hope not. And I really, 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 really hope at this point in time that they put their faith in Bobby Lashley and they put the strap on him. Bobby Lashley has been protected so much. He's been so dominant lately that I think it fits perfectly. And The Miz is a perfect transitional champion from Drew McIntyre to Bobby Lashley. I have no problem with it whatsoever. Later down the line, they can bring back in Drew McIntyre and have him feud with Bobby Lashley as well. I think it'd be great. I think it would be great. It's very unfortunate that this road to WrestleMania is still very blurry on the Raw side of things. SmackDown has shaped up perfectly. We know that Edge has picked Roman Reigns. That match is 100% happening now. It seems very obvious that Bianca Belair is going to pick Sasha Banks. So now we need to know who is going to be the WWE Champion, who is going to be in the match as a challenger or challengers, better yet, and where does Asuka go? Where does this go for Asuka? Are they just going to push Rhea Ripley to the moon as well? Are they just going to throw her in with Asuka, have her become the Raw Women's Champion just like that, and have her run it all? I don't know. It's very interesting. Very interesting to see. I really hope that they do not just randomly throw this WrestleMania together, especially because it's 2 nights. One of the things that they do have going for them is that the last couple pay-per-views have been good. Surprisingly, Elimination Chamber was a complete disaster being put together. The card was a mess from start to finish. We didn't even know if certain matches were happening, who was involved in certain matches. It was crazy. There was absolutely no hype for the Elimination Chamber whatsoever, but the show delivered. The show delivered. It shocked us with the ending as well. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe Fastlane will actually turn out to be good. I feel like the pay-per-view before WrestleMania is always not very good, but hopefully this year's WrestleMania is good as well. I really hope. We need it. We deserve it. And especially if there's going to be 25,000 people in attendance. Who knows? Chloe says, you still live? Yes, but I think we're just about to wrap it up. We've gone actually quite over 2 hours today, 2 hours and 20 minutes. But yeah, that is all for tonight, I believe. Like I said, not the worst episode of Raw I've ever seen. No distractions is a fantastic thing. No roll-ups is a fantastic thing. And better yet, no disqualifications is amazing. I hate disqualification finishes every single week. So it was nice to have our palates cleansed. Palates cleansed for tonight. Hopefully they keep this up. They are headed in the right direction, I would say. Next week, just give us less rematches, please. That's all. That is all. Yeah, anyways, I think that is going to do it for me tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it so much. If you're here and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe. It helps me so much. Also, make sure to hit that like button as well. And as always, we will be here for the AEW Dynamite post show, and we will be here for the Friday Night SmackDown post show. I'm going to try to maybe put together something on Sunday, but I won't make any promises because I wasn't able to fulfill them last time. So I'm going to try to do something on Sunday. If we can get something going on Sunday, we'll do Discord again. We'll bring people in. So if you guys want to chat, I'll post the link again and we can chat and we can just have a grand old time. Anthony says, have I tried spaghetti tacos? No, but I definitely am going to try them at some point. I definitely am. Definitely am. I saw first says, I hope Lashley's 3 sisters can see their brother win the belt. That's a good one, man. I think WWE. I think that Bobby Lashley deserves to be WWE champion based solely on the fact that he had to have that god awful feud with Sami Zayn, and they had to do that that stupid thing that they just did with Bayley, like the course, whatever the hell they're called. Can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But that and like the 3 sisters thing, man, that was god awful. He deserves it. He really deserves it. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you all on Wednesday for the AEW Dynamite post show. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your night, and I will see you on Wednesday. Peace.